Hey there, nerdpreneurs. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you here today. If you've been following us for a while, then welcome back to our nerd side. And if this is your first time listening and watching, then hi, I'm Amanda Goldman-Petrie, but you can call me AGP. And I'm an internationally renowned, work smarter, not harder, online marketing coach and founder of the popular website, web TV show, and podcast, Market Like a Nerd, where we geek out about business and marketing strategies that maximize your profits while minimizing your efforts so you can increase your income and your impact without having to work too hard, hustle, or sacrifice. So that's what we're all about. And all this week in our free Facebook group, The Balanced Entrepreneur, we've been talking about ways to work smarter, not harder. So if you want to join that group, you can go to Market Like a Nerd or marketlikeanerd.com/invite. And you can join that group to get access to those daily tips. But the one that we posted today is what we're going to be talking about. So in the Balanced Entrepreneur Facebook group, we posted today, manual prospecting and selling is not sustainable or scalable. Automate instead. So that was today's tip and what we're going to be talking about. And the reason why this is so important and why I want to talk about this specifically today is because yesterday on our first Facebook Live, we talked about what you are marketing in your business, the offers that you're putting out there, because it's really important to make sure that the offers you put out there set you up for long-term success. But today I want to talk about it on the other side. I want to talk about how you're marketing. So yesterday we talked about what you're marketing. Today we're going to talk about how you're actually marketing it, because how you're marketing it can also set you up for burnout, for failure, or it can make your business very scalable. Manual prospecting and selling is not sustainable or scalable, but automation is. So there are 5 shifts or 5 tips that I want to talk about when it comes to shifting from manual prospecting over into automated marketing to make your business more scalable. So let's dive into what those 5 tips are. And then again, you can post comments and questions in the comment section, okay? So the first step is to really understand the difference between manual prospecting and automated marketing so that you know how to make the shift. So let's talk about what the difference is. Manual prospecting and selling, or manual marketing, is any form of marketing or selling that is directly dependent upon you and your amounts of effort. You're the one putting in the work. You're the one posting in the groups. You're the one having the conversations. So if you're not working, you're not getting leads in. If you're on vacation, you're not making sales, because the business and the marketing and the sales are all dependent on you. Automated marketing is when your marketing, your selling is done for you. And typically it's done by some type of technology, some piece of technology, some software, or sales funnels. Manual prospecting, dependent upon you. Automation does it for you. That's the difference. Now let's look at some examples so you really understand the difference here. Manual prospecting, a great example of that would be posting in Facebook groups. And I love Facebook groups. I post in them all the time. I'm a member of a ton, but the truth is that it's a very slow way to grow. It's not as scalable. It's a lot more difficult to track. It takes way, way, way more work to track. So while I do love them, it's still manual prospecting. Even discovery calls, one-on-one phone calls, that's also manual prospecting. You're the one physically getting on the phone and having the conversation. Automated marketing would be things like automated webinars, Facebook ads going to some type of sales funnel, automated emails or landing pages that do the selling for you. So that's the difference, and those are some examples. If you have questions about it or you need more clarity, just let me know in the comment section. So that's step or tip number 1. It's understand the difference. Number 2 is when you want to make this shift from manual to automated marketing, the next step is you want to determine the price points of the thing that you are offering, because it's going to impact the way that you actually end up selling it and the way that you set up your automated marketing. If your offer is over $2,000, for example, you're not going to be able to 100% automate it. It's going to be a mixture of manual selling with automated selling. Because over $2,000, you typically have to get on the phone with people to sell them into the offer. And again, phone calls, that's considered manual selling. It's one-on-one. You're the one doing the calls. You're the one putting in the effort. But you can automate the process of getting the phone calls on the calendar, right? So it's a mixture of manual and automated prospecting. If the offer is over $2,000, you automate getting the phone calls on the calendar, but then you yourself or a salesperson, if you want to make it more scalable, does the calls for you. If the offer is below $2,000, then you can 100% automate it. You don't need to do a mixture. You can automate the process of getting the leads in, and then you can automate the process of converting them into paying clients as well. So that is 100% automatable. So that's what you want to do next. You want to determine what the price point is, because it's going to impact the way that you set up your automation and your sales funnels. All right, so step number one, understand the difference between manual selling and automated selling. Number two, determine your price point, because it's going to impact the way that you set up your automation or your sales funnels. Number three is you want to find your jam. And what I mean by that is you got to figure out what you like and what you enjoy when it comes to setting up automation and creating these funnels. Because the truth is, there's so many different types of automation. There's so many different types of funnels that you can create. But if you try to do all of them all at once or master all of them at the same time, it's not going to work. It's a lot. You've got to figure out so many different pieces when it comes to a funnel. If you tried to figure that out with tons of different kinds all at once, it just wouldn't work, and it'd be extremely overwhelming. Now, I personally love automation. I love sales funnels, so I want to master all of them. But I have to kind of rein myself in and choose to master one at a time. And that's what I recommend for you too. One thing at a time, first things first. So what are some of the different types of sales funnels so that you can kind of choose which one you're gonna like? Well, webinars is one of them, automated webinars. That's the one I started with, and I do find that it is actually the easiest one to start with. So automated webinars, evergreen challenges, where you are giving people an action step once a day, and throughout the challenge, you're kind of seeding an offer, and at the end, you make an offer. So a lot of people do challenges live, but you can actually automate and do the challenge evergreen as well. Tripwire funnels, where you have an opt-in and for a free gift, and then after people opt in, you send them to a thank you page, which is really an upsell page for some type of offer. That's called a tripwire. So they opt in and then get upsold to something. The landing page does the work for you. Video funnels. So they opt in for a video series. They get video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. And on the 4th video, it's really a video sales letter. It's a pitch. There's an offer on the 4th video, right? So there's so many different types of funnels. I haven't even listed all of them. What you want to do is you want to educate yourself on the different types of funnels, the different types of automation, and find your jam. Figure out what you're going to like and then focus on that rather than trying to master a ton of different types of automation, sales funnels, and marketing all at the same time, okay? So number one, understand the difference between manual prospecting and selling and automated marketing. Number two, determine your price point, because it will impact the way you set up your funnels. If it's over $2,000, it's going to be a mixture of manual and automated, because you have to get people on the phone. If it's under $2,000, you can just automate all of it. Number three, find your jam. Instead of trying to do all these different types of things at once, you pick one type of automated marketing or sales funnel and focus on that. And four, once you figure out what your jam is and you're ready to dive into actually setting the funnel up, you model what works. So if you say, for example, that you really want to dive into automated webinars, What you're going to do is you're going to go out and find people who are really good at automated webinars, who make a lot of sales from automated webinars, and you're going to model them. You're going to research them. You're going to opt into all of their stuff. You're going to watch what they're doing because they're successful at it. And rather than you trying to figure it out yourself and test and and fail yourself, all you have to do is go and look at people who are doing it right and then model what they're doing because it's already proven. There's evidence that that is successful already. So if you want to do automated webinars, go find people who do automated webinars, watch them, follow them, opt into their stuff, and model it. Don't pave the way. Don't, try and, do new things. Just model what works. It's so much easier because there's evidence that that is going to be successful. You don't have to figure it out. All right. So understand the difference, determine your price point, find your jam, model what works. And the last tip or step here is actually a quote from one of our recent podcast episodes on Market Like a Nerd. I interviewed Scott Olford recently. He's a sales funnel expert who recovered from almost $1 million in debt and then went on to make multiple millions by the time he was, I think it was 25. And in that interview with him, he said, this was at the end of the interview, and I was just floored by it. I absolutely loved it. He said, if you're going to rush at anything in business, rush at being patient. And I 100% agree. And this is the most important of the 5 steps when you're shifting from manual to automated marketing, because automated marketing requires patience. It requires time. It requires testing. It requires tweaking. When I first started diving into automated webinars and really perfecting my webinar funnels, I had to redo I had to redo one webinar, a single webinar, 5 times before it actually converted, right? So I couldn't just, if I hadn't been patient, I would have never have been able to figure out what I know now. I would have never been able to schedule 100 phone calls on my calendar in 1 month. I would have never been able to turn $60 into $100 over and over and over again without lifting a finger, because I would have never figured automated webinars out if I just quit and gave up. But because I kept going and I was patient and I kept testing and I kept tweaking, I was able to figure it out after 5 tries, right? So that is what you should expect when you get into automated marketing. If you're modeling off of someone who works and you have a coach who's walking you through it, your chances are greater that you're going to end up needing less tries. I've had plenty of clients who have nailed their webinars on the first try. But it's not a guarantee because automation is kind of tricky that way. A lot of times you have to watch your numbers. You have to put the funnel out there, put the automation out there, watch the numbers, see what's working and what's not, test it and tweak it until it actually does work. So sometimes it can take a full 90 days to actually get one automated funnel in place. But if you think about it, it's so worth it. It's worth putting in the time, that 90 days, to get that automated funnel up. It's worth it to put in the investment in the automation software to get that funnel up. Because then when it's done, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to lift a finger. The automation does the work for you. You can go on vacation and know that your business is safe because the automation is doing its job, right? And that makes your business more sustainable in the long run. You might have to find other ways to make money in the short term, but in the long run, your business is now more sustainable because you're bringing in leads and sales in an automated way without having to do anything. And your business is more scalable because all you have to do is put traffic into the funnel and the funnel does the rest of the work for you. All right, so those are my 5 tips or shifts for switching from manual prospecting selling over into the automated marketing realm. Number 1, you want to understand the difference between manual prospecting and automated marketing. Manual requires your effort, automated doesn't. Determine the price point. If it's over $2,000, it's a mixture because you have to do phone calls. If it's under $2,000, you can 100% automate it. Find your jam because there's so many different types of funnels, webinars, challenges, tripwires, video series. Figure out the one that you enjoy and start with that. 4, model what works. And once you know your jam, then find someone who's doing it successfully and model them rather than trying to figure it out on your own. and start from scratch. And 5, rush at being patient, like Scott Olford said, because you do have to test, you have to tweak. There's going to be, there's going to be around 90 days where you're working on making the funnel. So you've got to be patient and know that the effort is going to pay off. It's going to be worth it in the long run to make your business sustainable and scalable. So there you go. That's all the nerd wisdom I have for you today. Those are the 5 steps to shift from manual prospecting to automated marketing. Thank you so much for joining, guys. And if you enjoyed this content, then I highly recommend you go ahead and listen to my interview with Scott Olford, the sales funnel expert who I interviewed on the Market Like a Nerd podcast yesterday. His interview was just released, and he shared with us his 3-step system that allowed for him to get out of almost $1 million in debt. I believe it was $726,000 to be exact. And go on to make multiple millions by the time he was 25. So you can go and listen to that interview at bit.ly/market like a nerd, and that'll take you to the iTunes page where you can actually download all of our episodes. So I highly recommend that you do that. So again, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you learned a lot. All right. Bye, Nerdpreneur Nation.